Push the goddamn button.
Welcome back to The Real Truth. And it's been a while because there were things like holidays and jobs and family and all that stuff and procrastination. Now, on to
what you all came to
double
watch.
toil and trouble.
Eyes Double Dragon.
Ah,
How long has it been since you've seen this Double Dragon?
I've
1994.
I've never seen it.
Really? 1994. That was 31 years ago. I figured you'd at least seen it once, like Drunk on a Dare or something.
The game is just people.
I know.
Girlfriend.
But you can't make a movie out of that. You have to give substance. And I know we're going to talk about that probably.
So many.
But let's talk about it during the appropriate category, whatever it is.
And let's kick things off with best move. I think we always start with best move.
So Double Dragon has a similar problem to Street Fighter, where there is not a lot of fighting in this movie. Now, granted, the movie is not called Double Fighter, Dragon Fighter, but if you know what the video game is, you would expect there to be more fighting. And so for best move, I really did have a hard time trying to pick something. We're going to get into a lot of other reasons why I had a hard time trying to pick a best move. I have a worst move. but I want to throw an honorable mention just as the actual, my saying, I watched this and this is one of the many ways I'm going to say this movie's better than Street Fighter.
Woo!
I'm going to say this is better than Street Fighter. Oh boy. There were so fewer cutaways during the action in this.
Wow.
We saw a whole lot, even though the few that we got were not super complex for the most part.
Yeah.
It was single shot camera frames. And I appreciated that, considering how bad the quality of this movie also is, along with some other moves. That's at least one thing in itself that.
And
I got to see what was happening. And I liked that. You could see what was happening. Good or bad, mostly bad.
Yeah.
But you could at least see it. To your best move.
So my best move, and like I said, this would be the second Alyssa Milano movie I've seen.
Okay.
She did a move that is hard to do.
I may know what you're talking about.
Okay. It's hard to do for a martial artist. So it's got to be hard to do for someone who, and you can watch this movie and tell that she is not a martial artist.
She's young. This is probably, I didn't go through her IMDb, but this is probably one of her first movies.
She does a jump kick, and it's a jump kick off of something, which means she has to then do the jump kick and land on one leg. What I mean by jump kick, I'm not talking about ninja jump kick. I'm talking about that jump kick. The Karate Kid traditional, every karate jump kick ever. That one. Is that what you might have been thinking?
I think so.
If you do that off of something and coming down on one leg, you can basically end your career. And she pulled it off.
Yeah.
You can't see her land. But it is one shot. They didn't cut away. Again. It is one shot. So that was my best move. She is not the best. Like Mark Dacascos, everything he does
he does is great.
Looks better.
Yeah.
But just for her to pull that off, there you go.
Yeah. Worst move. I went first. It's your turn.
Worst move. What was my worst move? Jimmy Lee's last kick. The last kick in the final fight is a double. I think it's a double kick. It's like both of them, Jimmy and Billy, are side by side, and
it's the kick to kick the samurai dudes together.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
That guy. Yeah. Jimmy Lee sucks.
Yes.
Okay, he's terrible at the martial arts.
He's
terrible.
Oh my god.
And
he's so bad.
Just like in The Last Jedi, in the throne room, where you see Daisy Ridley on one side and Adam Driver on the other, and I love Daisy Ridley, I do, but she's not as good at the physical as Adam is, and I'm not saying Adam's good.
Obvious discrepancy, though. There's
when you see them side by side,
oh man,
or back to back. Anyway, that was my worst move.
All right. My worst move. In this movie, the boys have an Obi-Wan Kenobi Death Flag character.
Yeah.
Satori.
Satori is played by, and I don't know her name, Rambo 2. She was in Rambo 2. That's where I know her from. I think she might have even been in one of the Sidekicks movies, but Rambo 2.
Yeah.
First Blood Part 2.
So I remember when I was a child, her character being cool. Because, and I think I just assumed her character was supposed to be cool because she's tutoring martial artists and she's also going to defend them from Koga Shuko when he attacks
I'm
their
glad
home.
you remember his name.
Koga Shuko.
Because I was just going to call him Robert Patrick. Or Terminator 2. All right.
So Koga Shuko, he attacks their home base and Satori's like, run! And I'm going to save you and fight him, and he sends minions after the two of them. There's one punch she does to try and attack Koga Shuko, and it's the slowest, softest punch. I've seen babies throw harder punches. It's just this wet noodle arm that's about at that speed, wow. Just like that. It's away from the body.
Professor Lee was wrong.
A, the move is just terrible, and B, my childhood inner self was let down because I remember this character. I remembered this character being cooler. You know, the martial arts,
the Obi-Wan,
the teacher, yeah, and she was awful. I mean, everything she did in those short sequences where they cut to her versus them was awful. But that punch in particular, oof.
Best part.
Sure.
Best part of the movie.
I actually had a lot. There were a lot of fun moments in this movie, but the best part of the movie as a whole, I loved the world.
City Games. Our ratings might go down. Boom! Okay. Oh boy, tap your oxygen. Hollywood and Vine. Looks great.
I loved all of the effort they put into, because to your point, they took a side-scrolling, goofy beat 'em up that really doesn't have any plot, and they had to create a plot for the movie. It's 2007. This is 1994's thoughts of what 2007 post-apocalyptic New Angeles might look like after a massive quake devastated it in 2000. And all of it feels believable. The set pieces look good. I enjoy all of the different gangs. Like, they all have their personalities and and everything about this movie that could have been bad and should have been bad because they had to make it up worked. And it still was enjoyable. And the way you know it works, because Mario Brothers did this exact same thing with a post-apocalyptic alternate version of Manhattan. And as a world and as a premise and everything, it's garbage. The set is garbage. The premise is garbage. It's terrible. And this, I enjoyed. Best part of the movie, the actual world and setting. I really did. The story revolving around the Double Dragon is very.
I'm not gonna argue with this. Yeah. Man. These 15-year-old Nikes are better. The Super Mario. The sock with the hole in them. I don't see any seams. Yeah, it is a different world. I don't particularly like the world or any of that stuff, and I think it is ridiculous. But you don't see the seams. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't just glaring. Any of the design for it, you don't look at it and go, "That's dumb."
Right.
You know, everything works for what it is.
I'm not gonna be that deep. Because this movie. It's Double Dragon.
It's ankle deep as it is.
Yep. Best part of the movie for me is, I know this can double as a best character, but no. Best part, Robert Patrick as Koga Shuko.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, if we're gonna nail it down to one scene, there's when he's fighting Satori and she like kicks him or something like that. She
awfully.
She knocks him off guard or whatever, and he gets up and he's like, ha ha ha,
yes,
ha.
He jumps out of that set wall or whatever.
Ha.
He's great in this movie. We will probably come back to it, but he's fantastic in this movie.
He's so, spoiler alert, he's not getting my best character.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wait,
he's not. He's not.
Okay.
As good as he was, he's not.
All right.
Worst part of the movie was it almost made my best part. This was when I messaged you and I said my best and worst part might be the
Same thing. Yeah.
No, this would have to go under worst. Even though I laughed, I found it entertaining, but in a bad way. It shouldn't have happened. All right, during one of the raids on the what's Alyssa's gang's name? And
the gang's name, the Power Corps.
Power Corps. One of the raids on the Power Corps, right? You know, Shokasugo's blonde
Lash.
She gets caught, and they tie her to a pole to
It's
keep
like
her
a metal support beam. Yeah.
to keep her secure, and that's cool. She's done. You got her.
No.
Little fighting happens over here, and for some goddamn reason they cut back to her, and it's just from here up, and an elbow comes out of nowhere. And it's a dude's elbow because it's a man arm. What dude was just like fighting and decided to just haul off and not just hit a woman, but an elbow to the face?
I think what's supposed to have happened is he's tussling with somebody else, and he just kind of gets tossed into her. I don't think it's an intentional. He threw her an elbow.
We'll never know.
No,
Because
yeah.
the camera only shows that elbow comes from the side. We don't know.
And
We'll
just
never know.
Nails her in the face, and of
Oh,
course
my
the back of
God.
her head hits the pole, and she's now unconscious, and she just starts to slowly slide down the pole.
And it's like this. I had to watch the movie twice because I forgot to write down my bests and worst. And the first time I watched it, I laughed my ass off when this happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lash.
Yeah.
And it made my best. And then for the second time I went through it, I was like, nah, I can't do that. I can't do that. Shouldn't be hitting a woman with an elbow like that, even though it was funny. So, and I know it was meant to be funny. So,
Yeah.
I can't make movies like that anymore. Anyway, so honorary best line, which we might incorporate. Matter of
Moving
fact,
forward.
if we're doing Enter the Dragon next, we probably gonna need a best line,
That's
maybe
fine.
the worst line.
You do best and worst line.
Best and worst line.
We could
I
probably
don't have
ad
a
lib
worst
that
line.
now.
I don't have a worst line right now. I don't remember that much of this movie. We'll
Anything Billy said.
We'll get to that. Honorary best line is during that. I think it's that scene where Lash. I think they got Alyssa Milano's character kind of held down, and Lash says,
Now who's the boss?
I thought that was cool. Yeah, and it's the only line I remember from the movie. So it's my best line. And of course, Alyssa Milano was in a TV show called Who's the Boss? There you go. All right.
Yeah. Would you like a best line offering from me?
Oh, go ahead.
You said it.
Oh God.
You said it.
I like his delivery of it though, because
Oh.
I just
Oh, okay.
I like it.
Yeah, and I remember when
his delivery, not
one of them
theirs.
was gonna cuss. One of them was
Yeah,
like,
they're about to
"Holy."
say that they're
And then
in a PG movie,
Yeah.
and he cuts them off. But his
Okay.
charisma as the character
Oh, yeah.
sells it.
Yeah, no.
It's not a great line exactly, but just the timing of it and his delivery. Because then, so he's combining the medallions, which is of course apocalyptic in his hands or whatever,
Of course.
and he's finally got both pieces and he's about to connect it.
The Double Dragon.
And then the Double Dragons, and then they of course get it from him, separated, and later they're about to connect it, and he goes,
then
"Oh."
and
And they go, you
You
said
said
it.
it.
And it's not nearly as
it's
good
not
the
as
second
good. Yeah,
time.
and honestly, when you first said it, I was thinking of when they said it. And I was
No,
like, really? And then when you said,
his
Yeah,
version of
okay,
it
I got it.
is fun.
I got you. Cool.
All right. My
worst
worst
character.
part of
Oh,
the movie.
okay, you haven't done yours.
Worst part of the movie.
All right, go for it.
It's very beginning of the movie. Lash and the two henchmen are raiding somewhere in China, and they're looking for one hat. The Double Dragon's been split in two for important reasons that anyone would understand. And they're killing all of these monks in the middle of nowhere. The monks have cut out all of their tongues so that they, of course, can't be tortured for information. And one of the henchmen's like, they've cut out all their, they're talking to Lash, they've cut out all their tongues, we'll never find it. And she just immediately looks over to see random monk watching them and then running off. Nothing happens unless she's psychic to know, because they're in the middle of literally nowhere. So there's lots of shrubbery and dirt huts and hills. So it's not like he's running down an open road or something. He's actually kind of hiding in grass and stuff. And she just immediately knows to look over for him before he runs. Now, that is fine. A little bit. What's not fine is what continues. Had she not found him, how easy she found him, it was forgivable, because they would have found this cave because every candle in China was lighting up this damn cave. Okay? They would have found this cave and they looked for 5 minutes after killing all the monks, even if she hadn't seen the monk run into the cave. But it's a big cavernous cave, lots of twists and turns. You can see everything because there's 18,000 candles in this cave. But again, it's not like a ceremonial looking cave. It just is a cave. And it's like, you're not really just, they don't have neon signs to their credit pointing out where it's at, except the monk is in there and they lock eyes with, he locks eyes with Ash and then looks at the damn thing so she knows where it is. Might as well kept your tongue so you could yelled at her and told her where it was at. Look, something. And it was...
Best character. My best character in this movie is Billy Lee, played by Mark Dacascos.
I think he's Jimmy. You say Mark Dacascos is Lee, because I think he's Jimmy.
Is he Jimmy?
His Mark Dacascos is Lee.
Yeah,
whichever one that is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's Jimmy.
Mark Dacascos.
Or maybe he's Billy. Whichever one.
I think he's... Yeah, he is Jimmy. Because I remember the other one, I thought his name was really stupid. And the reason why is because it's Billy Lee. It's Lee. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so right. Jimmy Lee.
Yeah. Mark
Dacascos' character is my best character. Over Terminator 2,
Kogashuko.
Because there's a point where Kogashuko takes over Jimmy Lee.
Yes.
And
he does an amazing job.
He killed it.
The eyebrow.
The
eyebrow.
Killed it.
I know.
Do you know the story of Romulus and Remus? Sons of Mars, god of war.
If you're waiting for an emergency, this is it.
And Mark Dacascos is not like the greatest. We've seen only the strong.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's gotten better, but this was his early shit. He was so good.
He pulls off all of the body language and mannerisms. There's a moment where he's unimpressed, as we all are, in his brother's attempts to fight him.
Oh, good Lord.
And he cocks an eyebrow, which is something Kogashuko did a whole lot in the movie as part of his mannerisms. And that eyebrow was beautiful.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah.
That's my best character.
I'm gonna go with the villain again.
No,
it's a very close. I agree with you. That one thing, like, he does a good job, but that one bit where he has to emulate the character, he did an excellent job of it.
I will say this too, for the majority of the movie though, he's always kind of like, no, let's not do that. That's kind of, out of the two brothers, he's the more
logical.
Yeah. So I'll throw that in there. But
and he does, and I agree with you. He's a very close second.
Yeah,
he's a
good,
favorite
he seems
character.
like a good person, sort of.
But Kogashuko, again, charisma wins the day.
Oh, yeah.
In a movie like this, or like Street Fighter, some of these movies that are likely bad, you need the villain to save it. Not just save it. You need people to at least get invested in the villain and care about the villain on some level. And again, charisma wins the day. He gets some great lines.
Funny.
They don't try and make him fight, which is good.
And it's Robert Patrick, so I'm sure he would have put in the work.
Yeah.
He definitely did for T2.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
All the stuff he did was enough. It was enough.
He was a great villain, great character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are the two best characters in the movie.
Yeah. After that, there's a draw.
Unless you're just like so attracted to Alyssa Milano that you have to pick. Nah. Those two characters are the best two characters.
No.
And Alyssa Milano's character was fine.
It's all right.
Definitely better than our worst character. And I have a feeling we have the same worst character.
Oh, you do you? Yeah. It's Billy. It's not even close.
Billy can burn in hell. From the jump. I mean, the second we see Billy, first off, you're like, well, this dude can't even fight. And then he opens his mouth.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, did he try to cheat? He was just terrible. He was a terrible human.
I wouldn't say he's a terrible human, but he's stupid.
He's dumb as hell.
He's supposed to be portraying a 17-year-old. We were stupid at 17, but still.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
He's bad.
But
I feel like he's supposed to be like a Michelangelo-esque type of character and bank off of being the comic relief of the two.
To see Michelangelo whoop his ass.
Oh, yeah. But I'm talking from the personality.
Yeah.
I think that's the angle they were going with, was comic relief.
Like they're in like some sort of fighting tournament or some shit at the beginning or something like that. Doesn't he like cheat or do something stupid? He
jumps on he jumps on a guy's back and just starts.
I hate you, Billy. I hate you, Billy. Should have got somebody else, somebody that can actually throw a kick above knee level.
Well, he's playing opposite Mark Dacascos too.
I mean,
get somebody.
They could. You know what? You could have got Johnny Lawrence. You could have got friggin' what's his name? What is his name? Zapka.
All right, but yes, worst character. Yeah, he's just so bad.
We can do best fight first, because we might not have the best. My best fight is kind of obscure, so
then go ahead.
Okay, my best fight. First off, there are no good fights in this movie, but for me, there was a fight that was, finally I get to see somebody with some skill. Okay, and we might have the same one here. I don't know. And it's when Jimmy Lee is fighting Al Leon. Because, like you brought up earlier, the two henchmen go in there. And they beat the two henchmen. This is the scene where he does get his hair caught into the...
And they both have the brooms and...
Yeah. It's because you have two people who know what they're doing. Al Leong is a bad dude. He's cool. Watch him fight Brandon Lee in Rapid Fire towards the end of the movie. It was my first time seeing him throw hands, like throw hands. And him and Brandon Lee, it was short, but they put in the work.
Yeah.
Here, again,
it's short.
He's with someone who can do some stuff, so they let him do some stuff. It's not as much.
Mark Dacascos is finally with someone who can do some stuff.
And Mark Dacascos is with someone who could do some stuff.
Unfortunately. I like that you had that.
Okay.
My favorite.
You have one though.
At my best fight, not my favorite, because they're bad.
Yeah.
So it's the best of bad.
Right.
It's the tournament in the beginning.
Wow.
Well, because there's actual fighting.
Yeah, there is.
Most of this
not
movie.
Much to choose from in this
no,
movie.
There's not.
Jimmy, watch his spin kick.
Watch it. Watch.
There's some moves here and there, but it's actual fighting. Another best part of the movie was the guy trying to keep the roof from falling in despite all the chaos.
Yeah. Worst fight.
All right.
And I guess you would go first.
It's a tie between, as I've already mentioned it, Satori versus Kogashuko.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can
That's
see that. Yeah,
awful.
I can see that.
The other one is going to be the two of them fighting the twin samurai dudes.
The final fight.
Because, yeah, it is the actual final fight. And I remember as a kid, I thought there was fighting. It's them running while they get swung out with swords.
It's my pick for worst.
There's no fighting.
No.
At all.
The final fight in this movie is the worst fight. Gokushugo, I mean, Robert Patrick just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have two, I guess, stuntmen
Yeah.
in these ridiculous costumes. And yeah, it's a bunch of running, dip, duck, dive, and dodge until we turn on the lights. And now we can throw a couple of punches and a couple of kicks. And because I am doing a jump kick next to the guy playing Billy Lee and he does not know how to do a jump kick, I have to then make my jump kick look kind of not as good as I could because otherwise, you know, so yeah.
He's not wrong either. I'm laughing because I'm crying inside.
So that was Double Dragon. Man, I don't know if anybody's gonna watch this video because I know this movie isn't that popular, but we had to do it.
Yeah,
come full circle. It was the only way we could get to Enter the Dragon anyway, and that's gonna be a long one because you want to talk about honorable mentions. But before we get there, so if we're gonna
rank this,
yeah, we gotta rank them. I'm just gonna keep it real and put it at the bottom.
All right.
I am going to say I would watch Dead or Alive first. Mortal Kombat, Bloodsport.
You would watch Street Fighter above this movie. Wow.
I would watch
know
Street Fighter.
how much you loathe, how much Street Fighter kills what few brain cells you have remaining.
I'm watching Street Fighter and I'm having a good old time. And then I'm watching Double Dragon.
To that point, Street Fighter makes you laugh a lot, at least. So I'm going to have to do a slight re-ranking here, I think, because for the top two remain the same for me.
Mortal Kombat and then Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I would put Bloodsport third because I still think on Return, like I had Bloodsport at the bottom. I had Street Fighter third and Bloodsport fourth. And it was close.
Why are you putting Bloodsport ahead of Street Fighter?
I'm swapping them, yes, because I think I would watch Double Dragon again before Street Fighter. And I wouldn't put Double Dragon ahead of Bloodsport. Like I think I would watch Bloodsport again over Dead or Alive, or not Dead or Alive. I would put Bloodsport over Double Dragon for rewatching.
You're putting Street Fighter at the
very bottom.
But that's your shit.
It is, but that's another thing. I was ready to go into Double Dragon, ready to absolutely hate it, and remember it was garbage. And it wasn't nearly as bad as I remember it being.
Wow.
From beginning to end,
maybe that's because
there's nowhere near as many problems continuity-wise with the movie or bad decisions by characters with the movie
because there's nowhere to go.
Street Fighter has.
Because there's nowhere, right?
But that means it's at least kind of well written, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So as a movie,
right.
Double Dragon as a movie is just so much better than Street Fighter. Like,
when you consider the source material.
Oh, and how Street Fighter also butchered source material, sure.
Oh, okay.
Like Double Dragon doesn't try to butcher; it has to create from nothing, and we've already established it's good for what they had to do from nothing.
Street Fighter the movie kicks Street Fighter the game in the nuts so hard,
I know
that his kids,
that the next Bison wannabe is going to feel it.
Yeah. So okay, I can agree with that.
It's just as a movie, Double Dragon was solid. It's a movie,
and it never makes you think, "Oh, they did this character dirty," or because there are no characters in Double Dragon video game. That's been Double Dragon.
Are you ready? I have not seen Enter the Dragon from start to finish once. I've seen bits and pieces kind of all over the place. So I know the movie, but start to finish, I've never seen it once.
You gotta have them stop that.
This is going to be a fresh, from start to finish
All right.
bit for me.
Okay.
I figure that will make the review.
Anger is subsiding because that's kind of cool. Being able, all right, you get to.
I'm going to bring a very fresh perspective to this.
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that, and it's 1970. What 2, 3,
and
1?
I know the movie.
So
I
it's
know a
gonna
lot
be-
about it. I know a lot
Yeah.
of the fight scenes just because, it's like
It's gonna be some rough
it's an
parts.
old movie,
It's an
and
old movie.
so I've seen things, but just not all in once, in one city, the whole thing
Right.
all at once.
You're not like because it's Enter the Friggin' Dragon. It's
Yeah.
like it's not like I've never seen Predator before. I don't know anything about Predator. Bullshit. It's iconic. This movie's iconic.
Yeah.
Maybe he hasn't seen the whole thing, but he knows what the fuck it is.
Yes.
Because it's an iconic movie.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, that's been The Real Truth. Till next time. Peace.